This is a very interesting artwork that depicts Napoleon Bonaparte as general of the Italian army in 1798. Here are some facts about the story behind this portrait. Napoleon was a French military and political leader who rose to prominence during the French Revolution, and became the Emperor of France in 1804. He was also known as the General Bonaparte, which means General Bonaparte in French. He was born in Corsica, an island in the Mediterranean Sea that was part of France at the time. He joined the French army as an artillery officer and fought in several campaigns against various European powers, such as Austria, Prussia, Spain, and Britain. He became famous for his victories at Austerlitz, 1805, Jena, 1806, Friedland, 1807, Wagram, 1809, and Braginor, 1812. He also conquered most of continental Europe and established a large empire that spanned from Spain to Russia. He reformed the laws, administration, education, and economy of France and introduced many innovations in various fields, such as law, education, science, art, and architecture. He was a patron of many artists and writers, such as Jacques-Louis David, Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres, François-René de Chateaubriand, and Victor Hugo. He died in 1821 on St. Helena Island in the Atlantic Ocean, after being exiled by his enemies after his defeat at Waterloo, 1815. The portrait is an engraving by Pierre-Michel Alix after a painting by Andrea Appiani. It shows Napoleon wearing his blue military uniform with gold epaulets and a red sash. He is holding a sword in his left hand. The portrait is signed Alix and Appiani in the lower left and right corners respectively. The portrait is set in an oval frame with a gold border. Below the portrait is a plaque with the inscription Le Général Buonaparte, which means General Bonaparte in French. The portrait was created by Pierre-Michel Alix, 1762 to 1817, who was a French engraver who specialized in portraits of famous people. He worked for many publishers and collectors of prints and drawings. Some of his works include portraits of Voltaire, Rousseau, Diderot, Montesquieu, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, John Adams. Andrea Appiani, 1754 to 1817, was an Italian painter who specialized in portraits of historical figures. He worked for many patrons such as Pope Pius VI, King Ferdinand IV, King Charles III, King Louis XVI, King Louis XVIII, King Charles X, King Louis XVII. Some of his works include portraits of Voltaire, Rousseau, Diderot, Montesquieu, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, John Adams. The painting General of the Italian Army is a fascinating one, as it shows how he rose from a young and inexperienced commander to a brilliant and charismatic leader who changed the course of history. It shows Napoleon in his element, on the battlefield, leading his troops with courage and confidence. He is not afraid to take risks and challenge his enemies, as he did in his stunning debut campaign in Italy in 1796 to 1797. Napoleon was a visionary who had a clear strategy for defeating the coalition of Austria, Prussia, Britain, Spain, and Sardinia that opposed France. He used his superior intelligence, mobility, and discipline to outmaneuver and outwit his opponents. He also exploited the political and social unrest in Italy to gain support from the local population. Napoleon was a reformer who introduced many changes to improve the administration, economy, education, law, and culture of France. He also promoted the ideals of the French Revolution: liberty, equality, fraternity. He was admired by many people for his achievements and charisma. Napoleon was also a controversial figure who faced many enemies and challenges. He was accused of being ambitious, arrogant, ruthless, and tyrannical by some of his rivals and critics. He also made many mistakes that cost him dearly in later wars. He was eventually defeated by a coalition of Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, Spain, Sweden, and others at Waterloo in 1815.